Okay. Now, welcome my dear students. Today I will be explaining you the chapter periodic properties and their variation. When we were having classes in the school before the lockdown, I had explained you in briefly this periodic properties and the variation regard to only the periodic table. But today, let me explain in detail. Here, you can see on the board over here the groups. 1, 2, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. There are 18 groups, and in between you will find some groups are missing which is not in our ICSE syllabus. But our syllabus is basically confined to these groups which I have mentioned over here. Group 1, 2, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18 only. And after the groups we have periods. There are 7 periods. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 periods. Let me quickly revise the groups and the periods of the various elements in this chapter. In group 1, the elements are hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium and francium. In group 2, the elements are, the first element of group 2 is beryllium. There is no element present in period 1 of group 2. It is empty. The first element of group 2 is beryllium, then comes magnesium, calcium, barium, strontium and radium. In group 13, not 3, group 13, there is boron, aluminium, gallium, indium and thallium. In group 14, we have carbon, silicon, germanium, tin and lead. In group 15, we have nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony and bismuth. In 16, we have oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium and polonium. Group 17, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, acetine. And in group 18, we have helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. Now, the reason why I am reading out these elements in this order is you must memorize these elements according to their groups. It is very, very important. Please memorize these elements group wise, not period wise. Now, in period 1, if you look at period 1, there are only 2 elements. The first element of period 1 is hydrogen. The next element of period 2 is helium. Next is period 2. In period 2, the first element is starting with lithium and we go beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine and neon. Period 3, we have sodium, magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine and argon. Now, I am going to draw a line over here. I am going to draw a line after period 3. Our questions in the ICSE are basically confined to only period 2 and 3 and all the groups, group 1 to group 18. So, now let me go to the next page in this chapter. Now, look at this page now. This is actually what we are going to learn in detail, the periodic properties and the variation. Now, if you look at this very carefully, this part of the periodic table very carefully, you will find that there are very few elements which have to be memorized and their atomic numbers and their electronic configuration has to be remembered and practiced properly. Now group 1 has hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium only, which is to be memorized. In group 2, beryllium, magnesium, calcium only. In group 13, boron, aluminium only, not no need of gallium, but I have written it down. Group 14, carbon and silicon. Group 15, nitrogen, phosphorus, and we go ahead straight. But please make it a point for group 17, which over here you can see, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. These elements, fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine, are to be remembered. You must remember all these fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, which are known as halogens. Why are they called halogens? Let me quickly describe it. These elements, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, are called halogens because they are salt producers. These elements, they react with the metallic elements of group 1, lithium, sodium, potassium and so on to produce salts. So these are salt producers. These are salt producers. So what is the meaning of halogens? Halogens mean salt producers. Now let me go to group 1. In group 1 you see the elements are hydrogen, lithium, sodium and potassium. These elements of group 1, they are called alkali. They are called alkali metals. They are called alkali metals. There is an exception over here, hydrogen. Though hydrogen is a non-metal, still this element is placed in group 1 because it has only one electron in the valence shell. Lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium and francium, they are true alkali metals. Now, why are these elements called alkali metals? Because these elements of group 1, they react with water to produce strong alkali solutions. Now, let me come to the next group, that is group 2. In group 2, we have beryllium, magnesium, calcium, barium, strontium and radium. But please learn only beryllium, magnesium and calcium. These elements of group 2, beryllium, magnesium and calcium, they are called alkaline. They are called alkaline earth metals. They are called alkaline earth metals because they also react with water. They also react with water to produce strong alkaline solutions. These elements, beryllium, magnesium and calcium, they are found in the crust of the earth. Now, let us come to the third group, that is group 13. Boron, aluminium, gallium, indium, thallium, they are called boron family. Group 14 is called carbon family and so on. So, this is a brief introduction to the periodic properties with regard to the groups. About the names, they have got special names. For example, group 1 alkali metals, group 2 alkaline earth metals, group 13 boron family. Come over here, group 17, they are called halogens. The meaning of halogen is salt producers. One more important group to be memorized over here is group 18. Group 18 is also called group 0. It is also called group 0, noble gas, helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. Except for helium, which has 2 electrons in its valence shell, all the other elements, for example neon or argon or krypton or xenon or radon, they have 8 electrons in their valence shell. So, now my dear students, let us move to the next part of this video. Now here we have the same thing in much more detail. Now let us go and understand the atomic numbers of all these elements along with their electronic configuration. This page will be a very important page for you all to watch it again and again. Okay, let me begin with hydrogen now. Hydrogen atomic number 1. Hydrogen atomic number 1. Now when you were in class 8, I have explained you how to write the electronic configuration of elements on the basis of a rule which is called magic number rule. The magic number rule goes like this: 2, 8, 8, 2. This is the magic number rule which you have to follow to write the electronic configurations of the first 20 elements. If you look at hydrogen, whose atomic number is 1, its electronic configuration becomes 1. 1 electron in the first shell. If you come to helium, it has atomic number 2, its electronic configuration is 2. Come down to lithium, the atomic number is 3. By following the magic number, its electronic configuration becomes 2 and 1. Then beryllium 2, 2, boron 2, 3, carbon 2, 4, nitrogen 2, 5, oxygen 2, 6, fluorine 2, 7 and neon it is 2, 8. Now, I will confine my explanation to period 2 first properly. Let me revise once more. The modern periodic table what we have today, it has total 18 groups and there are 7 periods. It has 18 groups and 7 periods. Now, I am explaining to all of you period 2 first. Lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine and neon. If you look at the electronic configuration of all these elements in the second period, you will find that all these elements, they have only 2 shells. They have 2 shells. That is why these elements are placed in the second period. But notice one important thing over here. As you are moving from lithium towards neon, you find that in the second shell, the number of electron is increasing by 1. The number of electron is increasing by 1. But if you look down in a group, for example, move from lithium to sodium. Lithium, the number of shell is 2, but if you come down to sodium, the number of shell is 3. Okay, now let me come back to period 2 over here. As I have told you, when you move from top to bottom in a group, the number of shell is increasing by 1. Beryllium, it has 2 shells. Magnesium, it has 3 shells. Now, all the elements of period 3, if you look at them very carefully, they have 3 shells. They have what? They have 3 shells. All the elements of period 2, they have 2 shells. That is why they are placed in the second period. Now, over here, suppose if you are given the atomic number of any element, how to find its location, how to find its position in the periodic table? First thing is write down its electronic configuration. For example, if you are given atomic number for sulfur, that is 16. So what you will do? You will first write down its electronic configuration 2, 8 and 6. After writing the electronic configuration, what you must do is count the number of shells. There are how many shells? There are 3 shells. So if there are 3 shells, it means this element sulfur, it belongs to the third period. Number of shells tells us the period. Now, after that, you look at the final shell, the third shell. The outermost shell has 6 electrons. So, if the outermost shell has 6 electrons, then this number of electrons in the outermost shells tells us the group to which the element belongs. So, this element sulfur belongs to group 6. Group 6 or 16. Group 6 or 16. That is 6 or we call it 16 according to the modern periodic table. So, this is how we must be able to find out the position of an element in the periodic table. The number of shells tells us the period number and the number of electrons in the valence shell tells us the group number. Now, let us move to the next slide of this video. Okay, now this chapter, it is very important to understand the modern periodic law. According to the modern periodic law, the physical and chemical properties of elements are periodic functions of their atomic numbers. Atomic numbers, very important. It is very important. According to the modern periodic law, physical and chemical properties of elements are periodic functions of the atomic numbers, not atomic weights, not mass numbers. It is atomic numbers. Now, you must recall over here what is the meaning of atomic numbers. Atomic numbers mean number of electrons or number of protons in an atom of an element. Now, after learning this periodic law, you must learn the statement properly. It is very important to understand the periodicity in properties of elements. What is the meaning of periodicity? Periodicity in properties of elements. Periodicity. The word is so important. Periodicity. It means occurrence of characteristic properties of elements at definite intervals in modern periodic table when elements are arranged in increasing order of the atomic number. So, now here a very important word, that is periodicity, has been coined over here, because here there is much more variation in the properties, physical and chemical properties of elements when we move across the period from left to right. This variation is not prominent down the group, but this variation is very prominent across the period from left to right. So, here my dear students, it is very important to understand the modern periodic law. This is the law, learn it properly, and please learn what is the meaning of periodicity in properties of elements. It means occurrence of characteristic properties of elements at definite intervals in the modern periodic table when elements are arranged in increasing order of their atomic numbers. Now, you must be able to read this very carefully, and this modern periodic law and the periodicity and properties of elements are also mentioned in your ICSE class 10 textbooks as well. Okay, now my dear students, let us move to the next slide of this video. Now Now periodic properties once more. The periodic properties are the properties which appear at regular intervals in the periodic table. Now what are the periodic properties? The periodic properties are number one, atomic size. The size of the atom. The size of the atom, number one, atomic size. In short, what is the meaning of atomic size? Atomic size is the distance from the center of the atom. It is the distance from the center of the atom to the valence shell electron. After that, the next periodic property is called ionization potential, IP. Now, this is the second periodic property, ionization potential. The third one is electron affinity, EA. The fourth one is electronegativity. The fifth one is valency. And the sixth one is metallic and non-metallic nature. I will explain the meaning of these periodic properties in my next slide slowly. Okay, now let us look at the next slide. Slide number 6. Now, the first periodic property is atomic size. The meaning of atomic size. Let me take an example of an atom. I have drawn an atomic diagram of the element sodium. Sodium atom. Atomic number 11. If I write the electronic configuration of sodium atom, its electronic configuration is 2, 8 and 1. 2, 8, 1 electronic configuration. There are 2 electrons in the K shell. There are 8 electrons in the L shell and there is 1 electron in the M shell. So, the valence shell has only 1 electron. Now, what is atomic size? Atomic size, my dear boys, it is the distance, my dear students, it is the distance from the center of the atom to the valence shell electron. There is an electron over here, only 1 electron. So, atomic size, it is the distance from the center of the atom to the valence shell electron. That is the meaning of atomic size. Okay, now let us come to the next periodic property. The meaning of the next periodic property, that is ionization potential, IP. Now, ionization potential, it means it is the amount of energy. It is the amount of energy which is required to remove an electron from the valence shell of a metallic atom in its gaseous state. Metals, we know, they have either 1 or 2 or 3 electrons in their valence shell. Metals have either 1 or 2 or 3 electrons where in their valence shell, and metals, they have a tendency to lose these electrons, to give away these electrons. So here, under ionization potential, the amount of energy required to remove either 1 electron or 2 electron or 3 electron from the valence shell, this amount of energy is called ionization potential. So, let us take the example of sodium atom. Sodium atom, it has 1 electron in its valence shell, so it is a metallic atom. So, the amount of energy required to remove this 1 electron from the valence shell, it is called ionization potential. That is the meaning of ionization potential. The bigger the size of the atoms, metallic atoms, much easier it is for us to remove those electrons. If the size of the atoms are smaller, then the ionization potential becomes higher. That means we will need more energy to remove the electrons from their valence shell. Now, let us move to the next one over here. The third periodic property is called electron affinity, EA, electron affinity in short. Now, let me take an example of chlorine atom. Chlorine atom, Cl atom. The symbol is Cl, its atomic number is 17. Now, if I write down the electronic configuration of chlorine atom, it becomes 2, 8 and 7. 2, 8 and 7. Chlorine has 7 electrons in its valence shell. When I say 7 electrons in its valence shell, chlorine, it is a non-metal. And please keep in mind, my dear students, non-metals, they have either 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 electrons in their valence shell. So, since chlorine has 7 electrons in its valence shell, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 electrons, so it is a non-metal. And non-metals, they have a tendency to accept electrons, to receive electrons in their valence shell and become an octet and become stable. So here, let me explain you electron affinity in detail, the meaning of electron affinity. Now, please keep in mind, in an atom of chlorine like this over here, in the valence shell there are 7 electrons, and these electrons are not stationary. They are always going round and round and round. They are always moving. They are not stationary. So now if we decide to put one electron in the valence shell of chlorine atom, say I bring that one electron from the valence shell of sodium. So this electron, if it is put over here, the movement of these 7 electrons in the valence shell of chlorine atom is disturbed. So once the movement of these 7 electrons is disturbed, some energy is given out. And that energy which is given out, it is called electron affinity, because these 7 electrons are going around with their own particular energy. But once an electron from a metallic atom is adjusted, put over there in the valence shell to make it an octet number of electrons, there is a disturbance in the energy with which these electrons are revolving around the nucleus. So an energy is given out. So that energy which is given out, it is called electron affinity. So this is the meaning of electron affinity. And electron affinity is more prominent, more visible in the case of non-metallic atoms. Now, let us go to the next periodic property, that is called electronegativity, En. Now, before explaining electronegativity, let me tell you to memorize the name or symbol of these 3 elements: fluorine, oxygen and nitrogen. Fluorine, oxygen and nitrogen are the 3 elements which are highly electronegative. Which are what? Highly electronegative. Now, fluorine is the most electronegative element. After that comes oxygen and then comes nitrogen. These elements are called as electronegative family. Now, what is the meaning of electronegativity? Electronegativity, it means the tendency of an atom, of an element to attract the shared pair of electrons towards itself in a covalent bond. The bond has to be a covalent bond. For example, if you find any one of these elements in a molecule of a compound, these elements, they will have a tendency to pull the electrons which are shared between themselves and the other element towards themselves. So for example, let me take 3 examples over here. The first one is hydrogen fluoride. The second one is water molecule. The third one is ammonia molecule. In these 3 examples, you will see that the first example has fluorine, an electronegative element. The second example has oxygen, an electronegative element. And the third example is ammonia, has nitrogen, an electronegative element, according to this order. So, if you find any one of these elements in any molecule of a compound, these elements are bound, 100% bound to exhibit a phenomena which is called electronegative behavior, which is called electronegativity. So, here what happens over here? These 2 electrons, which are the shared electrons, they get pulled by this fluorine. In this case, these 2 electrons get pulled by the oxygen. In this case, these 2 electrons and these 2 electrons get pulled by the nitrogen towards themselves. So, what is the outcome of this pulling of electrons? Because of this electronegative behavior of fluorine, oxygen and nitrogen in these molecules, hydrogen fluoride, water molecule and ammonia molecule, they develop a slight polarity in their nature. They become polar in nature. Hydrogen fluoride becomes polar. How does it become polar? Because of an increase in the number of electrons around the fluorine atom, this fluorine acquires a negative charge, this hydrogen acquires a positive charge. Similarly, if you look at water molecule, this oxygen acquires a negative charge, this hydrogen acquires a positive charge. Similarly, if you look at ammonia molecule, the nitrogen acquires a negative charge and the hydrogens, they acquire a positive charge. Because of all these phenomena happening over here in this case, electronegativity, the molecules, they acquire some polarity, and such molecules are called polar covalent compounds or polar covalent molecules. Now, my dear students, let us go to the next slide of this video. Number 5. Okay, now number 5 is valency. Valency, we have been learning since class 7, class 8. Valency means the combining capacity of an atom of an element. Number of electrons lost, number of electrons gained. That concept comes under valency. Okay. Now, number 6 is metallic and non-metallic nature. Metals, they have 1 or 2 or 3 electrons in the valence shell. Non-metals have 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 electrons in the valence shell. So, these are the 6 periodic properties which are there in your syllabus to be remembered and understood properly. Now, let me come down in detail and discuss these properties, periodic properties one by one. The first one is atomic size. Now, I will take the example of period 2. The second period, the elements of the second period are lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine and neon. If you look at the elements of the second period, the atomic numbers are written alongside 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. The electronic configuration 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5, 2, 6, 2, 7, 2, 8. And just above the symbols of these elements, I have written down plus 3, plus 4, plus 5, plus 6, plus 7, plus 8, plus 9 and plus 10. Now, what does these numbers signify? Why I have written these numbers down? The reason is, this plus 3 for lithium means the nuclear charge of lithium. All these positive charges are written above the symbol signify or mean the effective nuclear charge of all these elements. The effective nuclear charge. Now, from where do I get this effective nuclear charge? We get it from the atomic number. As I have told you, atomic number means the number of electrons or the number of protons. Number of protons. So, if lithium has atomic number 3, its number of proton is plus 3. Where? Inside the nucleus. If oxygen has atomic number 8, its nuclear charge is plus 8. Where? Number of protons 8 inside the nucleus. So, depending on the number of protons inside the nucleus, we can easily find out and say that so and so, such a number is the effective nuclear charge of a particular element. Now, across a period from left to right, when I am moving from lithium towards neon, the number of shell is same. The number of shell is not changing. It is not increasing or decreasing. It is remaining same. Though the number of electron in the second shell is increasing by 1, but my dear students, the nuclear charge is increasing by 1. That is why when we move from left to right across the period, the atomic size decreases. The atomic size decreases because the effective nuclear charge increases. Effective nuclear charge increases. I repeat once more. When we move from left to the right across the period in the periodic table, the atomic size of the elements decreases because the effective nuclear charge increases. The nucleus becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. That is why, since the number of shells are same, the size of the atom becomes smaller. It is pulled more strongly by the nucleus. Have a look over here in my next slide over here. Atomic size. Same period. Same period means number of shells same. If the number of shells are same, what will happen? The nuclear charge is more. If the nuclear charge is more, the size of the atom becomes smaller and smaller till we move the element in group 17. Now, but on the other hand, if you move from top to bottom in a group, the number of shell increases. From top to bottom, the number of shell will increase. If the number of shell increases, that is going to dominate the nuclear charge. If the nuclear charge gets dominated across the period, we remember, since atomic size decreases and down the group, atomic size will increase. Why? Because number of shell is increasing. Okay, next. The second periodic property in detail to be understood now over here. You already know the meaning of ionization potential IP. Let us understand the variation. Across the period, the ionization potential increases because if you move this way from left to right, the ionization potential, it is increasing. Why it is increasing? Because the size of the atoms are becoming smaller. Smaller sized atoms, it is difficult to remove electrons from their valence shell. That is why the ionization potential increases because the atomic size decreases. That is the variation across the period with regard to IP. Now, come down to the group. On moving down the group, when you are moving down the group from top to bottom, since the number of shell is becoming more, the atomic size is bigger, so the ionization potential decreases. Down the group, bigger atom means distance from the center of the atom to the valence shell electron is more, so it is much easier to remove an electron. That means we will need much lesser number of energy, lesser amount of energy to remove an electron from the valence shell. That is why down the group, the IP decreases because the atomic size increases due to increase in the number of shells. The number of shell increasing means the size of the atom is also more. Now, the next slide over here. Electron affinity, the third one. I have already explained you the meaning of electron affinity. Electron affinity means the amount of energy which is given out when an electron is added to the valence shell of a non-metallic atom in its gaseous state. Now, the variation with regard to electron affinity across the period. Across the period, the electron affinity increases. It becomes more because number of electrons are more. When you move this way from left to right across the period, the number of electrons becomes more. More electron means more energy with which they are moving round and round the nucleus. So, if you disturb those electrons by adding electron in the valence shell, the energy liberated will be more. So, please keep in mind, across the period, the electron affinity increases due to decreasing atomic size, higher nuclear charge. But down the group, the electron affinity decreases due to increasing atomic size. The atomic size is bigger. The atomic size is bigger. The nucleus cannot hold the outermost electrons effectively. So that's why while adding electrons, if you see the electron affinity, it is decreasing because the distance from the center of the atom to the valence shell, it is more. That is why down the group, the electron affinity decreases. This is the third electron affinity, third periodic property which I have explained you. Next, the next one is electronegativity. As I have explained you the meaning of the word electronegativity, which is the fourth periodic property in this chapter, electronegativity means the tendency of an atom, of an element, to attract the shared pair of electrons towards itself across a covalent bond. Now, the variation of electronegativity. Across the period, the electronegativity increases. This way electronegativity increases. Down the group, the electronegativity decreases. These are the two things to be remembered. Only the variation is required. Now, after that we have valency. The fifth periodic property is valency. Across the period, the valency increases first. It becomes +1, +2, +3, 4, then -3, -2, -1 and 0. Okay, like that. And down the group, the valency remains the same. Why? Because in a group, the number of electrons in the valence shell is same. That is why in the group, the valency does not change. Now, example I have mentioned over here. For the valency, lithium valency +1, beryllium +2, boron +3, carbon +4, nitrogen -3, -2, -1, 0. So, valence is increasing and then it is decreasing across the period. So, that is to be mentioned over here always. Next, the metallic and non-metallic character. Metals, I have told you, are elements which have 1 or 2 or 3 electrons in their valence shell. And non-metals are those elements which have either 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 electrons in the valence shell. Their variation across the period, please keep in mind, the metallic nature decreases from left to right. The metallic nature decreases and non-metallic nature increases. That is across the period. But down the group, it is just the opposite. Down the group, the metallic nature increases and non-metallic nature decreases. So these were the 6 periodic properties which I have explained to you briefly. Now, there is one small exception, small clarification I want to do over here in my next slide over here, which is called exception in electron affinity, EA. In group 17 of the periodic table, the halogens, the elements which are present are fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine. Fluorine, its electron affinity value its electron affinity value is minus 3.6. Chlorine is minus 3.8. Bromine is minus 3.5. Iodine is minus 3.2. So these are the values of electron affinity in group 17. Now we have learned, I have told you several times that on moving from left towards the right across the period, the electron affinity increases. That is correct. And on moving from top to bottom in a group, the electron affinity should decrease. From top to bottom it should decrease. But here there is a problem. There is an exception over here. From chlorine to chlorine it should decrease. But it is not like that. If you look at chlorine, electron affinity is minus 3.6 and chlorine it is minus 3.8. It is, instead of decreasing, it is becoming higher. That is one important question which is generally asked in the ICSE. Let me give you an explanation and answer for this. Why it is like this? The electron affinity of fluorine is minus 3.6, chlorine is minus 3.8. Why? The reason is the size of fluorine is smaller, the size of chlorine is bigger. First thing is size. You have to talk in terms of size. Just because fluorine has smaller size, and its electronic configuration of fluorine is 2n7, chlorine is 287. Look at this. The size of fluorine is small, only 2 shells and less number of electrons. Now, because of the smaller size of fluorine atom, 2 and 7 electrons in their shells, these electrons are busy among themselves. These electrons are busy, B-U-S-Y, busy among themselves, repelling each other. Because of which they are very less interested in an incoming electron. That is why their electron affinity is lower. It is lower than that of chlorine. But if you look at chlorine, its atomic size is bigger and it has 2, 8 and 7 electrons in its shells. Because of bigger atomic size, the electron repulsion in chlorine is lesser. And then it is more interested in the incoming electron which is coming inside in the valence shell to take the place with 7 electrons to become stable. That is why the reason over here is chlorine has got higher electron affinity. So, if you ask this question, how will you answer? We have to answer in these lines. The atomic size of fluorine is small. It has high electron repulsion. The atomic size of chlorine is big. It has low electron repulsion. That is why its electron affinity is higher than that of fluorine. So, if the question is asked to you, name the element which has the highest electron affinity. Name the element which has the highest electron affinity. Our answer will be chlorine. Our answer will be what? It will be chlorine. And if it is asked, name the most electronegative element. Our answer will be F, fluorine. The most electronegative element will be fluorine. So, I have explained this chapter briefly to all of you, and I request all of you to go through the chapter very carefully and read through the lines in this chapter, and you will understand very nicely the definitions, the meaning of the modern periodic law, the statement, the periodicity and properties, and try to remember and learn the different types of periodic properties and the variations by watching my video again and again several times, and try to refer to the textbook questions at the same time. Thank you so much.